The last echoes of Whisper Creek. The town of Whisper Creek didn't appear on any modern map, tucked away in a forgotten valley. Its roads had long been swallowed by kudzu vines, and its buildings stood as silent monuments to an unknown exodus. It was a ghost town, but not in the way of a tourist attraction. There were no staged shootouts or antique shops here. Whisper Creek was the kind of place that felt less like it had been abandoned, and more like it had been erased from reality itself. The very air carried a profound stillness, as if time itself had forgotten how to move. Liam was a cartographer, but of a different kind. For years, he had worked for a major tech company, meticulously mapping the world for satellite imagery and GPS data. But he had grown tired of the sterile, digital perfection. The world, he realized, was more than just data points and street names. He left his job and began to seek out the geographical anomalies to places that had slipped through the cracks of the digital age. He was a seeker of mysteries, not just a documenter of facts. He craved the stories that maps couldn't tell. He was drawn to the blank spots, the faded lines, and the forgotten names, often driven by a sense of looser, quiet yearning for the tangible, physical world that felt so distant in his old life. His obsession led him to a dusty historical society archive, a place smelling of old paper and forgotten secrets. He found a hand-drawn map of the a channel so I can bring you more wonderful stories like this.